Hi all, I'm Julian Benegas, or JB, and I'm the head of development at Basement Studio, a boutique digital studio with work done for top tech companies such as Vercel, Linear, Solana, and iconic entertainment people such as Mr. Beast, Carl Jacobs, Patrick Mahomes, and more. By the way, we also designed the cool shirts for this amazing conference. Did you like them? Awesome. So my talk is about scrollytelling. Scrollytelling is a storytelling technique where the narrative is conveyed through a combination of text, images, graphics, and animations, all of which are revealed or triggered as the user scrolls down the page. It is a highly interactive and immersive way of presenting content, as it encourages the user to actively engage with the story and explore it at their own pace. The purpose of this talk is to show you why this technique is so amazing, why we should be building more of these, but better, as well as help you get started in your journey to building more of these. So I wanted to open up with a small disclaimer. Remember that website that when you started scrolling, it just blew you away? It ran animation after animation. Everything's scaled up, down, stuff faded in and out. You enter the portals and switch themes. It was so cool, except you probably don't remember anything else about that website. You don't even read the copy or paid attention to what they were trying to sell you. So my disclaimer is don't overdo it. When you know how to build these kinds of websites, it's easy to get caught up in thinking more equals better, but that's just not the case. You need to think about the reaction you're generating to your visitors as they scroll down the page with all those animations. If you go too ambitious or too sloppy, you might get performance issues, accessibility issues, user fatigue, and all kinds of bad stuff that we don't want on our websites. As always, everything we develop should be aligned with the company-wide objectives or personal objectives. And as long as we keep it that way, it will be fine. And so with that out of the way, let's get to the fun stuff. Why scrollytelling? Besides making your site look really good and increasing the chances of it going viral on Twitter, scrollytelling is actually a great way to explain complex flows, present data visualizations, or just tell a story with a strong visual component. It's a really special technique that we love at Basement because think about it. The scroll is like a user-controlled timeline. Scroll animations give the user more control. By scrolling faster, they can speed the animations up. By scrolling slower, they can slow them down. They can even pause them or play them again if they want to see it, to understand it better. So for a user, it can feel as if they are part of a journey, which will make your website feel more alive to them. The most well-known company using this technique is probably Apple. We all know them. Every new product they launch comes with an amazing website that presents all of its features in an engaging way. Their features are oftentimes not easy to explain, so they use scroll animations to do so. We all talk about their new websites because they are interesting. When you enter a brand new Apple website, you are entering a story of the new product they're launching, its new features, and now suddenly you've unlocked a new need. Of course, this is not only achieved by doing scroll-based animations. This is just a small part, but it's a small part that they get right. Another example is a project from the Basement. Boost sells immunity gummy vitamins, and they wanted to tell exactly why their product was so great. The website we developed for them showed the real package as a sequence of PNG images rotating in the middle as the user scrolled. Further down the website, we show all of the ingredients the gummy package came with, while animating some assets and changing the background. This launch was a long time ago already, but I do remember there was a lot of hype behind this. Overall, the website served as a great opportunity to show what made Boost different, while expressing fun and keeping it lighthearted. My final example was also made at the basement, the amazing replay.io site. Replay is building a new way to debug. It's an incredibly powerful product, and we wanted to show how it worked in an easy-to-understand way. We built a Scrollytelling part on the hero of the website that showed their main features as you scrolled. And the result was more developers understanding their product and more signups. That Scrollytelling looks really good. You should check it out. The Replay team actually saw a 24% increase in user interaction and key features 3 months after launching the website. Thank you, Jason and Jared from the Replay team for providing us with this valuable data. But let's not fool ourselves. Developing these types of experiences is still way too hard. It still takes a very experienced team and sometimes months of development to build a polished experience like the ones I mentioned. I'm sorry to say, I'm not gonna make it magically easy, but if you leave this talk with just a bit more confidence in building this, then I'm happy. I remember Una's talk, which showcased some of the new CSS features regarding scroll-based animations, and they are amazing. I would love for them to be stable sometime in the future. But for now, we do have JS. And one of the most important tools that will help us build this is GSAP. GSAP is a very powerful animation engine. Besides its non-negligible weight of 26 kilobytes, we often choose it because we know it can scale up to any use case we can imagine. It's one of the most battle-tested libraries out there. It has a very active community, and it's super performant. Creating a timeline with GSAP looks something like this. I'm not gonna get into details about how exactly all this works, but what we need to understand is that we're basically creating a timeline and then concatenating twins or animations into it. Now, by default, this animation will play when this code executes, but we don't want that. What we want is for the user's scroll to control the progress of this timeline. That's why we reach for GSAP Scroll Trigger, one of their plugins. Scroll Trigger, as its name implies, syncs the timeline with the scroll position. We import it, register it, tweak some variables, and then we're good to go. Except to control the start and end of these animations, the twins accept a duration parameter. The thing is, this parameter is not based on time anymore. As remember, now the progress is controlled by the user's scroll. The duration in scroll trigger actually represents how long the animation will run relative to the other animations, as the whole timeline's length is fixed to the scrollable container. We need to be really careful when dealing with this mental model because altering one duration can impact the other ones, as it's all proportional. So as you can see, I can alter one, but the proportions will switch. Notice how this all code is looking a bit more complex. And this is the moment we add React into the mix. We use effect and do all our timeline stuff in there. And on the effect cleanup, we just revert this timeline as GSAP recommends. But this is a bunch of code already. At this point, we have a powerful way to build UI and animations with GSAP and React. But we've identified a couple of problems. Firstly, we need to have a deep understanding of how GSAP works in relation to scroll trigger. Secondly, we need to be careful about running our animations in a use effect and then cleaning them up. Thirdly, we can't think about scroll animations in terms of a start and an end. We are still stuck in the paradigm of a time-based duration parameter, even though the actual duration will be controlled by the user's scroll. So to help alleviate these problems, me and the basement team built something. While preparing this talk, I was really hyped just to show a cool demo for you all. But I also thought it was nice just to give something back. So I'm happy to introduce now Basement Scrollytelling. Basement scrollytelling is a thin abstraction around GSAP scroll trigger, designed to help you build these kinds of animation faster. Let's see how this works in a side-by-side comparison. In basement scrollytelling, you won't need to use effect to create or clean up the timeline and scroll trigger. This is managed to you by the root component. You won't need to work with durations. Instead, you will work with a start and an end. Additionally, its component-based approach feels more aligned with React's declarative approach and pairs well with React server components, as we'll see later on. As a summary, this library will abstract some of the parts from GSAP, especially around integrating GSAP with scroll trigger. It will manage timeline creation for you and also cleanup. It will allow us to use a start and an end instead of a duration, using absolute positioning for our animations. And it will let us keep most of our code as server components, as the components we provide do use client, but you won't have to pass all your app or pages that wrap it to client components. So I think the most important difference, put visually, is about these absolutely positioned timelines. They won't depend on the durations of the other animations. You just define a start and an end for each. And this is especially nice when tweaking all those animations with this kind of stuff. You really need to tweak it for a long time to nail the timings exactly right. And so you don't want to worry about what is going to happen to the other animations once you tweak this animation and get the timing exactly right. OK, how are we doing so far? All good? Yeah. Awesome. Are you all ready for a demo? Yeah. Nice, nice. So we prepared a demo. Let's see if I can bring it up. Yes, this one. OK. So this demo was made exclusively for the React Miami conference, in which we'll just showcase some couple of animations that are using our new library. Now, remember I said don't overdo it. So in this website, we are actually really overdoing it. But it's all because we want to showcase this kind of animations in the first place. So my point still stands, sorry. So the first thing we'll see, OK, a couple of things are happening in this hero. So we first have like some text scaling in the x-axis. Some of the text are actually SVGs, so we can just alter the widths and do nicer stuff. We also have a 3D rendered model down here, and this thing rotating in here. This section also pins for a bit, so that means it has position sticky, and it will wait for all of the animations in it just to keep, it will fix it, and then once the animations are done, you can still scroll. So after this one, we have this text animation that starts with highlighting this text. This feels very Apple-y. It's nice. And also some 3D rendered caps that rotate while they enter. Now here, we have like a marquee kind of thing. This is not that readable. I don't recommend it, but I thought it was cool, so I just left it. It says from the laboratory. And after this one, we have like this world scaling in here. We have like some text in relation to our lab here at Basement. Our lab is just a place where we explore some new stuff or old stuff, even whatever we want. So we have some small parallax and some more marquees down here. And now this incredible animation that is like a cylinder kind of thing, which just showcases a couple of our experiments that we made at the lab. Shout out to the amazing Mati from our team, which nailed this animation. And basically, that's all for the demo, OK? Hope you like it. So besides the demo, I wanted to jump in quickly to VS Code. Hopefully not that long, because I will get into rabbit holes. But just to show some of these sections, how they work with the new library. I think we are good here. So this is a Next.js application. These are all server components. And if we enter the hero, well, this is not actually a server component because it's using like media query. But if you go to the hero, we'll see we have the root component here. This, as I mentioned, is the one that takes care of creating the timeline and reverting it back on every re-render. And just providing the context, the React context that will be used by the nested animations. We have a small helper here, which is called a pin. This is a super thin abstraction over position sticky and a wrapper inside it that lets it scroll freely. Here we have our first animation, and this is the best component we have. This animation component receives a children, which will be the target of it, and receives a tween prop, which has a start and an end. These two values are percentage-based, and they represent basically 0% of the start of the scroll trigger and 100% of the end. This to parameter here can be a to, a from, or a from to. These are typical operations that we see on almost any animation library. And down here is what we'll do. We'll basically get this, and from 0 to 100, we'll just rotate this 360 degrees. Down here, we have the Canvas Mac model. This uses React 3 Fiber to basically load the model and show it on the screen. Here, we do a different method. We use Scrollytelling. This is the context I mentioned. We get the timeline, and on every frame, we basically update the rotation in relation to the scroll trigger progress. So simple stuff so far. Now, we have a couple more animations. 0 to 100, same thing, from to. And let's move on to another section, because that should be it for the first one. I wanted to highlight this lab intro section. This features a parallax component. This is like a helper. You can build parallaxes with the animation primitive, but this is just a simple helper. So from 0 to 100, we'll give a movement in the y-axis of -20 pixels. That should be it for creating a simple parallax. That's cool. We have some more parallaxes, and down here, another animation component, which receives an array of tweens. So not a single tween, an array of them. We can basically place a lot of animations, and they all have different starts and ends, so they won't conflict with each other. Again, this is great for refactoring. And let's see, I think we have a bunch of animations, of components here, but as I said, I don't want to get into rabbit holes. All of this code will be open source. Let's go back to my slides. And that should be, oh, I think I nailed it. I went really fast, and that's good. So thank you for listening, first of all. I hope this was a fun and informative talk. You can choose your path on which QR code you want to scan. We have the code for this new library, as well as the website. I think the website is really a great way to start, just because it's pretty new and the documentation is not so extensive. We have Basement's Twitter and my Twitter. And one more thing is that we have some swag. Anyone want some swag here? Yeah. Okay, we need to make more noise. So anyone want some swag? Okay, cool. That's amazing. I have some T-shirts here. I think, okay. Okay. Let's put it down here so we reach. Okay. We have 2 more to go. So who else wants some swag? Okay. Down here. And there. Okay. Okay. That was all for me. Thank you again for listening. Thank you, React Miami, Michelle, the whole Basement team, which supported me all throughout this journey.